Good evening and welcome. This is Primetime News on Mitv. I am Toby Singh Ojo. And in our top stories, the House of Representatives have warned against tampering with the 2020 budget. A new NECO registrar has emerged. From the foreign scene, Pakistani plane crash claims dozens. And in sports, Osaka is current richest female athlete. And now the news in detail. The House of Representatives has enjoined ministries, departments and agencies, the MDAs of the federal government, to desist from tampering with the 2020 budget. Chairman of the House Committee on Appropriation, Mukhtar Aliyu Betara, issued the warning in a statement in Abuja following the submission of the revised 2020 budget proposal by President Muhammadu Buhari. The House noted that no MDA has powers to tinker with the budget, as only the National Assembly is statutorily empowered to review, adjust, consider, and pass the budget. The statement reads, and I quote, "There were reports that following the downward review of the budget from 10.59 trillion naira to 10.52 trillion due to the COVID-19 crisis and the dwindling oil prices, some MDAs were already adjusting the budget proposal to suit their needs. Such acts will not be condoned by the National Assembly, as any MDA or official found to be engaged in such illegal practice will be made to face the music." End of quote. It stressed that both the 1999 Constitution and the Fiscal Responsibility Act 2007 provides for no limitation on the National Assembly's power to amend the Appropriations Bill. According to the Appropriation Committee Chairman, Sector 80, Chapter 4 specifically provided that no money shall be withdrawn from the Consolidated Revenue Fund or any other public fund of the Federation except in the manner prescribed by the National Assembly. Betara informed that because of the importance the National Assembly attached to budget, members of the relevant committee will continue work on it during the 2-week summer break, stressing that the break will not in any way affect the consideration of the budget because of its being critical, to the survival of Nigeria. He assured that the House of Representatives Committee on Appropriation is committed to working with other relevant committees and the Senate, the Executive, to have workable and implementable budgets to help the country overcome the negative economic impact of COVID-19. President Muhammadu Buhari has approved the appointment of Professor Godswill Obioma as Registrar Chief Executive of the National Examination Council (NECO). In a letter dated 15th May 2020 with reference number FME/PS/396/C1/1/134 and signed by the Minister of Education, Malam Adamu, the appointment, which is for an initial tenure of 5 years, takes effect from the 14th of May 2020. A professor of education measurement and evaluation, Obioma was born on the 12th of December 1953 and hailed from Bende local government area of Abia State. The registrar on Friday, 22nd May 2020, formally took over the affairs of the council from the former active registrar, Malam Abubakar Gana, at the council's headquarters in Minna. He was a former executive secretary of the Nigeria Educational Research and Development Council. Professor Obioma has held other key positions in the education sector. Among those are the Director, Monitoring Research and Statistics, National Business and Technical Examination Board, NABTEB, Director, Monitoring and Evaluation, Universal Basic Education Program, Director, Monitoring and Evaluation, National Primary Education Commission, and Head, Department of Science, Mathematics and Technology, University of Jos. Until his appointment as Registrar CEO of NECO, Professor Obioma was the Ebonyi State Resident Electoral Commissioner for INEC. An erudite scholar, Professor Obioma has many scholarly publications to his credit. He is married and blessed with children. And the presidency has cancelled this year's Eid al-Fitr homage to President Muhammadu Buhari by various communities. The presidency also said the president will be conducting a private Eid prayers with his family to mark the end of the month-long Ramadan fast. These were contained in a statement issued by Senior Special Assistant to the President of Media and Publicity, Malam Garba Shehu, on Friday. According to the statement, the changes in the pattern of celebrating the Eid al-Fitr this year were both in obedience to new rules to help in combating the spread of COVID-19 and to ensure social distancing. President Muhammadu Buhari over the years had traditionally received stellar homages from various groups, including top government officials, political leaders, community heads, Muslim and Christian religious leaders, and children. Announcing the pattern for this year in the state, the presidency said with the Eid al-Fitr celebrations around the corner and a month-long Ramadan fast coming to an end, the president will be conducting Eid prayers with his family only. This, according to the statement, is in observance with the lockdown measures in the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, put in place to save lives and protect people from the dangers of COVID-19. This is also in line with the directive of the Sultan of Sokoto and the President General of the Jamatul Nasri Islam, JNI, Alhaji Saad Abubakar III, suspending Eid congregational prayers across the country, as well as the protocol against mass gathering issued by the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19. Still on the Eid prayers, the Inspector General of Police IGP Muhammad Adamu has congratulated Nigerians as the Muslim Ummah in the country celebrates this year's Eid al-Fitr. The IGP notes that the successful conclusion of the Ramadan, a period of self-denial geared towards attaining wholesomeness, reinforces his belief that with the citizens' collective perseverance and voluntary compliance with the prevention regulations embraced by government at all levels, the nation will surely overcome the COVID-19 pandemic. In a statement signed by the Force Public Relations Officer, DCP Frank Mba, the IGP assured the nation of adequate security during and after the Eid al-Fitr celebrations, noting the proactive and robust anti-crime measures, including the deployment of tactical and intelligence assets of the force, are already in place to prevent any untoward incident in the country. The force, however, reminds the citizens that the COVID-19 prevention regulation orders, including the Interstate Movement Restriction Order, national curfew, and the prohibition of mass social religious gatherings by the federal government in Lagos, Ogun, Kano State, and the Federal Capital Territory, and the restriction orders by governments in some states of the Federation are very much still in force. It therefore enjoined the citizens to observe the Eid celebrations, bearing in mind the unusual times occasioned by the outbreak of COVID-19, as the force will leave no stone unturned towards the due enforcement of the orders. Meanwhile, the Kano State government has insisted Eid al-Fitr prayers will hold in mosque across the state on Saturday with strict adherence to COVID-19 protocols. Governor Abdullahi Ganduje last Tuesday approved open prayers to mark the Eid al-Fitr. Ganduje, who also approved Sunday service for Christians, mapped out protocols during the religious gatherings. Reacting to the federal government's directive that religious gatherings should not take place during the lockdown, the Commissioner for Information, Malam Muhammad Garuba, said Kano has no choice but to go ahead with the approval for the Eid al-Fitr prayers. According to him, the people will pray in mosque, and the government has already decided on this issue, and strategies on how to ensure safety have been put in place. Garuba says that Kano State government has been working hand in hand with the federal government in its effort to curtail the spread of COVID-19 in Kano, and the COVID-19 protocols will be strictly adhered to by worshippers at the Eid prayer ground. Governor Ganduje has also directed the State Hisbah Board to hold meetings with imams and deploy its personnel across the state to ensure that worshippers comply with personal hygiene measures through maintaining of social distancing, hand washing with soap, use of hand sanitizers, and face masks. Moving back down south, wife of the Oyo State Governor, Engineer Mrs. Tamuno Minini Makinde, has charged women in the state to continue being good mothers in the community, saying they are the holders of the well-being of the family. Makinde's wife, who was represented by the wife of the Deputy Governor, Professor Bolanle Olaniyo, while speaking during the year 2020 Ramadan gifts distribution to women, said women should abide by the lessons learned so far during the holy month, even after its passage. She affirmed the Ramadan is a special month of blessing and mercy, love and forgiveness, urging residents of the state to imbibe love, irrespective of political or religious affiliations. While distributing Ramadan gifts to the women, she also noted that having considered the hardships some women are passing through, particularly during the pandemic, the governor, through his wife and his magnanimity, decided to extend his hand of love to women because of their importance to the society. She added the distribution is not party-based, but about good women of your state in general. Meanwhile, the State Commissioner for Women Affairs and Social Inclusion, Alhaja Fawzat Sani, also in attendance, explained that the women were gathered under the auspices of the First Lady to reach out to them at large and ensure they take something back home. The Commissioner also charged the women in the state to take health precautions so as to stop the spread of COVID-19 in Oyo State, while the women leader of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, in the state, Alhaja Wulemot Ipitoye, appreciated the governor and his wife for the gesture they had shown so far to all the women of Oyo State.
We should love each other. We should be able to forgive each other. We should be able to extend love to all around us, our neighbors, and be it in the same political party or not, we should be able to extend that love. And once we have love, a sense of forgiveness and all these things, we'll be richly blessed.
This COVID-19, it has really brought a lot of hardship.
Absolutely.
To so many people, especially the children and the women, and so they cannot be left alone. They have to be taken care of.
In Ogun State, the government has lamented that the outbreak of COVID-19 pandemic has brought disruption to many livelihoods of the residents. The Deputy Governor Noimat Salako Oyedele, who doubles as the chairman of the state task force, expressed a concern over the impact of the pandemic ravaging the world. She made this known while receiving some food items, which include cornflakes from a food processing organization domiciled in Ogun State at a office in Abeokuta. The Deputy Governor, however, said the state government is continuing to provide relief and palliative measures to vulnerable families so as to help them through the pandemic. While commending the food processing outfit for the kind gesture, the Deputy Governor noted that the government is focusing on how to have food security in Ogun State. She stressed that the government will continue to support farmers in ensuring they go to farm and plant despite the situation in the country. On his path, the managing director of the food processing outfit, Mdan Kaki, appealed to the state government to support indigenous companies during the lockdown.
If you have been following the programs of this government, you'll see that we are pushing very hard in the agricultural sector to make sure that our food security in Ogun State is maintained. We are helping our farmers to make sure that they are able to go and plant so that the next harvest will be available to us, because unfortunately we cannot hold the seasons back. So we will continue to work with the farmers to make sure that we support them. And the programs of this government, if you are following them, the Anchor Borrows program, the Youth Farmers Initiatives, and all these things are to be able to reinvigorate the agricultural sector in this state. One of our aims as a government is to make Ogun State the food basket of the country. We are already the industrial capital of Nigeria. We want to also make sure that when it comes to agriculture, food production, and food processing, we are way ahead of the pack. So we have a lot of policies in place that are doing that, and I would encourage you to please, work with us.
And we request the government to support the indigenous companies so that, despite of the challenges we have in the quality of the economy in Nigeria, we still patronize and use them so that we could support the farmer and the families. Rural development is key and backbone for this economy. The government should think ways and means how they can create rural employment by increasing farming, providing irrigation facilities and education to the farmers so that they could produce better quality of agriculture.
We have also thought that this is a war that should not be fought only by the governments. We feel that every person, both corporations and individuals, should see what they can do to support the government in this endeavor. And so we felt that we will not only commend the government, but we also do something to support what the government is doing. And in the light of that, we have brought some of our products. In fact, as we speak, we already have delivered a truck of cornflakes, which we want to present to the government as our own modest token in support of the fight against the COVID-19 pandemic. And it's our prayer that in the not too distant future, this disease will be a thing of the past. I pray that God bless Ogun State.
The Ekiti State government has said that the latest COVID-19 related death in Ekiti State was not infected within the state. The state government also said a 78-year-old woman was brought into the state from Umuaro in Kwara State sick and died before the result of a COVID-19 test arrived. The State Commissioner for Health and Human Services, Dr. Mojisola Yaya Kolade, said this during the state's briefing on COVID-19. She also said the woman had had the underlying health issues. There has been no trace of community transmission and infection of the deadly virus in Ekiti State.
The test came back on the 20th. The 75-year-old woman died on the 19th. So the result became just to confirm some of the causes of death, not necessarily anything we could have done anything about. And she came from Kwara State, Omuaro in Kwara State. So we still know where she came from, and we know that she did not get infected in Ekiti State. So we are still ruling out community spread.
Moving away from COVID-19 related matters, the Nigerian Navy on Friday said it has destroyed a total number of 2,287 illegal refineries in the Niger Delta region between 2015 and 2019. The Chief of Policy and Plans Naval Headquarters, Rear Admiral Ifeola Mohammed, disclosed this in Abuja at a press conference organized to announce activities lined up for the NN 64th anniversary celebration. He said the breakdown of the destroyed illegal refineries from 2015 to 2019 shows that in 2015, about 140 illegal refineries were destroyed and 128 illegal refining sites in 2016. Mohammed noted that in 2017, a total of 1,218 illegal refineries were destroyed, while 383 and 418 illegal refinery sites were destroyed in 2018 and 2019, respectively. From the records, 2017 recorded the highest number of illegal refining sites destroyed, and this figure decreased in 2018 and later increased slightly in 2019. The Naval Chief of Policy and Plans explained that the reduction in the number of illegal sites destroyed could be attributed to the ongoing swamp buggy operations in the Niger Delta, which makes it difficult for perpetrators to reactivate destroyed illegal refining sites. According to him, the Nigerian Navy also recorded successes in anti-cut and illegal sourced petroleum products, which has reduced illegal oil dealings within the Nigerian maritime environment from 2017 to 2019. Speaking further, he noted that current COVID-19 pandemic has necessitated a review of the initial plan for the anniversary, adding that the celebrations would be limited to only a few activities to reflect the somber mood in the country. We'll take a quick break now. When we come back, let's look at stories from the foreign scene. Please stay tuned.
John, you can use our toilet now.
Ew! My mommy said I should always use a toilet that is cleaned with hypo toilet cleaner. James will bite my bum bum.
John, what's the problem? Use Hypo Toilet Cleaner. Introducing the new and affordable Hypo Toilet Cleaner. Kills germs and deodorizes your toilet.
Hypo, hypo.
Welcome back. You're still watching Primetime News on MITV. Now from the foreign, seeing the remains of Augustine Bisimana, one of the most wanted suspects of Rwandan 1994 genocide, has been found. A United Nations war crime prosecutor says they were discovered in a grave in Congo, Brazzaville. DNA tests confirmed his identity and that he had been dead for 20 years. He was the defense minister when about 800,000 people were killed in 100 days. Bisimana was indicted in 1998 by a United Nations tribunal on 13 charges, including murder, rape, genocide, and torture. The announcement of his death follows the arrest in Paris last weekend of Elisienga Kabuga, who is accused of being the major financier of the killers during the genocide. They were ethnic Hutu extremists targeting members of the minority Tutsi community and the political opponents, irrespective of ethnic origin. The search is still ongoing for 6 other Rwandans accused of genocide, Sergei Bramates, the United Nations war crime prosecutor, said in a statement. Of the 6, the most wanted is Prophetized Raya, a former commander of the Presidential Guard. Like Kabuga and Bisimana, is regarded as a major fugitive. Bramates is chief prosecutor of the International Residual Mechanism for Criminal Tribunals on The Hague, which handles outstanding war crimes cases for Rwanda and the former Yugoslavia. Bisimana was alleged to be responsible for the murders of former Prime Minister Agata and 10 Belgian United Nations peacekeepers, and for the murder of Tutsi civilians in 5 Rwandan regions. A Pakistan International Airlines Airbus A320 flying from Lahore has crashed into the densely populated Model Colony residential area of Karachi. Flight PK8303 carrying 91 passengers and 8 crew was trying to land at Jinnah International Airport. Provincial health officials confirmed at least 37 fatalities, but a far higher death toll is feared. At least 2 passengers survived. The pilot had reported a loss of engine power and subsequently issued a mayday. TV footage showed rescue crews combing through debris strewn across the streets of Model Colony, 3.2 kilometers northeast of the airport. A number of houses were destroyed. The plane lost contact with the air traffic control just after 14:30 local time, the airline spokesperson said. And health officials in Singh, the province where the plane crashed, said 37 bodies had so far been brought to the Jinnah and civic hospitals, but it was unknown whether they were passengers or residents. The cause of the crash is yet to be confirmed. PR Chief Executive Air Vice Marshal Ashad Malik said the pilot had told traffic control that the plane was experiencing technical difficulties. The United States Secretary of State Mike Pompeo has condemned China's plan to impose a new security law in Hong Kong, calling it a death knell for the city's freedoms. China is seeking to pass a law that will ban treason, secession, sedition, and subversion in Hong Kong. Critics say the law would strip Hong Kong of its rights it currently enjoys, and that are not seen in mainland China. Pompeo said the decision to bypass Hong Kong lawmakers ignores the will of the people. The United States strongly urges Beijing to reconsider its disastrous proposal, abide by its international obligations, and respect Hong Kong's high degree of autonomy, democratic institutions, and civil liberties. In a statement on Friday, Pompeo's intervention is likely to infuriate the Chinese government, whose relations with the U.S. has been strained recently by disputes over trade and the COVID-19 pandemic. In Hong Kong, pro-democracy activists have been calling for support from Western governments after China announced the law. On Friday, campaigners urged mass protests over the weekend against the law, which they see as an erosion of Hong Kong's autonomy. The law was submitted at the annual National People's Congress, NPC, which largely rubber stamps decisions already taken by the communist leadership, but is still the most important political event of the year. War-torn Yemen's healthcare system is in effect collapsed, and coronavirus is spreading across the country. The United Nations has warned. Jens Lahek, Spokesman for the United Nations Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs, OCHA, described the situation as extremely alarming. He said people were being turned away from treatment centers partly because staff lacked protective equipment. The Yemeni authorities have confirmed scores of infections and 30 deaths, but the United Nations says the real figures are almost certainly much higher. The country's health system has been damaged by years of civil war and ventilators are in short supply. Millions of Yemenis are homeless, many are malnourished, most of the population depends on aid. And speaking at the briefing in Geneva, LAC warned that the lack of testing disguised the real infection numbers in Yemen. The actual incidence is almost certainly much higher and tests remain in short supply. Aid agencies in Yemen are also operating on the basis that community transmission is taking place across the country. Like said, Yemen's economy was also suffering and efforts to combat the pandemic would fail without urgent help. Another break will do now. When we come back this time, we're looking at stories in sports. Welcome back. Japanese tennis star Naomi Osaka has become the world's highest paid female athlete, displacing U.S. rival Serena Williams at the top of the list. According to Forbes magazine, Osaka, 22-year-old, a two-time Grand Slam champion, made £30.7 million in prize money and endorsements over the past 12 months. That was £1.15 million more than the amount earned by 38-year-old Williams. Both shattered the previous single-year earnings record of £24.4 million set in 2015 by Russia's Maria Sharapova. Since Forbes began tracking women athletes' income in 1990, tennis players have topped the annual list every year. Osaka, whose father was born in Haiti and whose mother is Japanese, is 29th on the 2020 Forbes list of world's 100 top-paid athletes, for spots ahead of Williams and the winner of the 23 Grand Slam singles title. The complete Forbes list, due to be released next week, has now featured two women since 2016. The pair met in 2018 U.S. Open final, with Osaka winning her first Grand Slam title in a highly controversial match in which Williams was given 3 code violations by the umpire. The Japanese then won the 2019 Australian Open, although her form has since dipped and she has fallen from the world number 1 to 10th on the WTA rankings. Williams has been the world's highest paid female athlete in each of the past 4 years, with Sharapova ruling for 5 years before that. Osaka has been a popular endorsement figure in Japan in the build-up to the now postponed Tokyo Olympics, securing lucrative deals with global brands like Nike, Nissan, Yonex, among others. And in football, Chelsea will allow N'Golo Kante to stay away from training because of coronavirus fears, even if it means missing the rest of the season. The French midfielder, 29-year-old, returned to limited training on Tuesday at the club's Cobham base, but he has since decided to train at home, a move supported by Chelsea. Kante caused concern among teammates in 2018 when he fainted after a training session. His brother died of a heart attack the same year. According to the Office for National Statistics, black men and women are nearly twice as likely to die from coronavirus than white people in England and Wales. Kante's decision follows a similar stance taken by Watford captain Troy Deeney. And on Tuesday, it was announced that there has been 6 positive tests across 3 Premier League clubs, including one from Watford defender Adrian Mariappa. Chelsea does not know when the World Cup winner plans to return for training, but which began this week in small groups with social distancing measures in place. But the recognized Kante has genuine concerns, and while Cobham has been made as safe as possible, no pressure has been applied to the former Leicester player to reverse his decision. Phase 1 training began at Premier League clubs this week, with hopes that the season suspended on the 13th of March can resume in mid-June. Chelsea have 9 games remaining and sit 4th in the table. That's it on the Primetime News tonight. But before we go, let's take a quick recap of our top stories. We start out tonight with the House of Representatives enjoining ministries, departments and agencies of the federal government to desist from tampering with the 2020 budget, as only the House has the right to do so. And President Muhammadu Buhari has approved the appointment of Professor Godswill Obioma as Registrar Chief Executive of the National Examination Council, NECO. From the foreign scene of Pakistan, International Airlines Airbus A320 flying from Lahore has crashed in the densely populated model colony residential area of Karachi. And in sports, Japanese tennis star Naomi Osaka has become the world's highest paid female athlete, displacing U.S. rival Serena Williams at the top of the list. Many thanks for joining us tonight on the Primetime News. For details and more, do visit our website www.mitvonline.ng. You can also follow us on all of our social media handles on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram and YouTube. I am Tomisi Ujo. From all of us here tonight, do have a pleasant night rest. Good night.